So is a fancy gym worth it compared to your cheapo neighborhood gyms? Let's talk about it. And I know, before we go any further, worth it is real subjective, and depending on what your goals are, what sports you participate in, and what those outcomes and objectives need to look like, so if you're a power lifter, then what you're looking for in a gym may be drastically different than what a yogi is looking for, versus what a rock climber is looking for, versus what an endurance athlete is looking for. I'm into triathlon, so I'm approaching it with that lens. We're gonna look at 5 different areas to kind of piece it together and come out with a baseline score and see, well, which one is more worth it? Looking at setup of the space, the atmosphere, the equipment, the extras, and lastly, probably most importantly, the cost for the entire package. Let's go.
What it do?
So was it worth it? For context, the 2 gyms that I will be referencing as my fancy gym is Lifetime Athletics. Nationwide, you have them in every city in every state. Compare them to like an Equinox, LA Fitness, maybe just an edge above LA Fitness, versus a YMCA. And I know there are lots of really, really nice YMCAs, and there are some dated YMCAs that haven't quite been renovated yet. The point being that both of these exist in pretty much every state, every major city across the continental US, and you can find an example of one of these to take a tour wherever you might be. So setup. As soon as I get into the gym, I like to step back and kind of survey the area and get an idea for what the flow is. Especially if I've never been there before or you're taking that tour, I just kind of like to get a lay of the land and see where everything is and what kind of activities, what kind of workouts the space will even accommodate before I get started. And what I've noticed going into my local Y is there isn't a whole lot of dynamic space, right? So we've got the designated kind of cardio area, but nothing really separates that from the weight room. And there isn't much of a functional fitness area. It's where you can do like plyometrics or body weight exercises, things like that. Versus Lifetime, my goodness. They've got things sectioned off by different floors. So on one level, you're gonna get, yep, this is where the weight room is. And then completely to the other side of that is cardiopalooza. And then on the next level is where you've got the specialties. So like, if you're going in for a yoga class, you won't be bumping into somebody who's just there to lift. All the spin studios, basketball courts, and all that are separated on different levels. If those kind of things are important to you and having more variety in your workouts, then yeah, maybe you should look at some of these fancier gyms that just offer a little bit more space. It's close because you do still get those things offered at the Y, but Lifetime slightly edges it out because there's just a little bit more freedom to the space. I could definitely see if you're in the Y with the after work crowd, yeah, it's definitely gonna get filled up pretty quickly. That said, I definitely have been at Lifetime after work and it's been, pretty hopping too. Next, equipment. And this one is, I thought about this and I kind of go back and forth, but I'll tell you where I land definitively right here. Whereas, you go to Lifetime and all the equipment is space age, super modern. Everything is brand new, like the plates, nothing is chipped, none of the iron is rusting. Things are well maintained, and generally speaking, all of the cardio equipment, if it can connect to an external sensor or has a connected app, then it does, right? So if you're looking to use one of those techno gym treadmills, then they'll pair up with your heart rate or a foot pod and give you all that extra data that you may want or need while doing your run. They'll even have like screens in front of them, so as you're running you can either just look at the data or link to your Netflix, link to your YouTube and watch some videos. Or if you want to take a virtual tour and you're running in the Vegas Strip, or you're going through a mountainside, awesome. Whereas when you compare that to the Y, and they have the equipment, so if you're looking to squat, we got a squat rack. If you're looking to bench press, you got a bench press. They've got treadmills, they've got ellipticals. But if you're looking for those extras, if you're looking for those connected devices, the ones that can save your metrics or even upload it to a server for you to look at the data later on, you're not going to get that. But all the functionality is there. So yeah, you do get a lot of bells and whistles there, but that's not really what you need to get fit, or what I need to get fit. You let me know. Some folks are encouraged by all that stuff. Other people are distracted by by the time I sign in and get everything set up, you spend 10-15 minutes. But let me know in the comments, what type of gym goer are you? Are you looking for the no frills experience and just getting straight down to business? Or do you need the fancy equipment to kind of give you that stimulus to keep coming back? Next, atmosphere. Oh, boy. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it, and maybe this is only true for my local YMCA. It is definitely an old guy gym. Quick side note, I remember very early on coming in there, and there wasn't any towel service, so there's that. You gotta bring your own towel. But it looked like some of the guys in the locker room, they don't believe in towels. So it's just it's an old guy gym, and old naked guys at the gym have a tendency of wanting to chat you up and talk to you while they're just being old and naked out there in front of you. And, to each his own, but, but there definitely is a different kind of vibe that I get at the Y. Most folks are just there to handle the biz. It's not necessarily a place to see people or be seen, whereas Lifetime, wow, there was a whole other vibe there. And it's definitely the place where the execs are going after work, and still you can still smell their cologne on them. You can you see the ladies come in and may still have some makeup on them in the weight room, and everyone is wearing the latest Athleia, the latest Gymshark or No Bull, and all these kind of things. And there's definitely a look and a vibe to it. I'm not seeing a whole lot of the tattered t-shirts and gym shorts with paint stains on them or anything like that. It's definitely a curated look, and some of these folks are spending more of their time hanging at the juice bar or in between the yoga classes at the spa than they are actually lifting weight. No judgment, but it is just a different atmosphere where this more feels like a spa, a resort as it's listed, versus, buddy, this is just a gym. There's sweat happens in here. So for me, if I had to choose, I definitely lean towards to the get the business happening, because the times that I have spent at Lifetime, I find that I end up running my mouth more than I am doing reps. And at the end of the day, I'm in there to get the job done, get out, and get on to the next thing, and not just socialize and chit chat. So I definitely lean towards the Y for that, despite it being a real old guy gym. Maybe I'm just an old guy at heart. All right, now we got to talk about the extras, and I alluded to it, right? The classes and the spin studios and things like that. Depending on the schedule at the place you go, they're both kind of offered. How regularly they're offered, that's a different ball game. I have seen that there is aqua fitness and yoga and all that other stuff offered at the Y, but the schedule only has it 3 times a day. Whereas, buddy, you've got 2 different yoga studios with alternating every other half hour of classes starting at Lifetime, spin studio, you name it. Both do have basketball courts, but we've got multiple courts over here versus one court over there. And then you talk about like the spa extras. Now, this is the stuff that is clearly what you are paying for. There is a whole, you can get a massage down there. You can get your hair cut down there. The locker room, probably my favorite thing. I did mention the Y did not have towel service. You got to bring your own, and that's fine. Not only is there towel service at Lifetime, but you want to talk fancy? You want to talk fancy right now? Boy, ready for this? Once you're in the locker room, toothpaste, shampoo, body wash, mouthwash, Q-tips, all of that is in there. So it's kind of more inviting to, yeah, why don't you come here, have your workout, and don't worry about going back home to get changed and head off to work. Just go ahead and get showered up, get clean right here, and make that part of your flow. Oh, you didn't grab breakfast? Don't worry about it. We've got a whole juice bar and a whole kitchen back here so you can get your protein, get your greens, get your grains, and make that part of your morning flow. You name it, you've got it right there. Oh man, you didn't press your shirt. Go ahead and drop it off at the front desk and they'll have it steamed by the time you leave. Like, are you kidding me right now? That is top-notch service. You know, some of these things would be nice if you just added, right? Like, you know, a body wash dispenser would be nice. Some Q-tips. I don't know. It's not a lot to ask for, but I guess that's why you're getting the luxury experience at Lifetime Athletic. If you've been keeping score so far, it's kind of close, right? There are definitely some things that I prefer at the Y and definitely some things that are like, ooh, this is really nice. But the X factor, for me at least, comes down to cost. I am no longer a member at Lifetime Athletic. When I used to go there, the cost was $180 a month for a single person. And I don't know, that's subjective. Depending on who you are, I don't know what your finances are. Maybe you're a high roller and that's a drop in the bucket. But for me, that's a lot. That's a lot for a gym membership. Checking up at the time of recording this, the prices have actually gone up to $219 a month versus my local Y cost $40. And I can still, you know, have a guest for $40. They still have basketball courts for $40. You can still take the fitness classes. The big X factor for either of these, why I'm comparing the two, is they both have pools. Super important for a triathlete, right? Like, you need a pool. But the pool over here is like, I mean, there are two indoor pools, right? There's a heated pool if you're going slow. There's a cold pool if you're going fast and you're really getting the heart rate up. Plus an outdoor pool, plus a game pool, plus a water side, plus bar outside. It's a whole resort. You can truly spend your entire day there, and I've spent several entire days there, just taking in everything that the place has to offer. But not everybody needs all that, and you definitely don't need that all the time. So for my money, I'll get a day pass to Lifetime, or find a buddy who is a member and I'll be his plus one from time to time. And that works out pretty well too. So if you're doing the math at home and tallying it all up, I'm all about the cheap gym. And that's where I stand, getting in, getting the work done, getting out. All the extras are fantastic, but I don't always need all of those bells and whistles, and sometimes those added perks turn out to be distractions. But that's me. You let me know. What gym do you belong to? What's it like? Would you call it a top tier gym? Is it a budget gym? Or is it somewhere in between? Let me know in the comments. Let's have a conversation about it. And maybe if I'm in your town, we can check it out together. Till next time, it's been real.